Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackel. Tonight we have a special guest, the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Louisiana, Peter Strasser. You've been in office since last September. This is the first time we've had a chance to sit down with you and do an in-depth interview with you. So first off, thank you for being here.
Well, Travers, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's start off with a big topic that happened a few days ago. Your office indicted the two men who were accused and caught on video of getting into a shootout while they were trying to allegedly rob a CVS pharmacy uptown on Prytania. Why was it so important for your office to play a role and really take over that case at the federal level?
What was very unusual about that is that these two individuals were not local. Instead, they came from out of state, specifically from Indianapolis, to come here for this specific purpose of committing this crime. And so once individuals cross state lines to commit crimes in our city, that's when we, the federal government, get involved.
You partnered up with the FBI and the NOPD on this. These two men, possibly, I know your office is still looking into it, and the indictment indicated this, that they could be tied to other similar crimes around the country, from Indiana through Louisiana possibly. But how serious is something like this? People trying to steal prescription drugs and then do whatever they were planning on doing with those prescription drugs if they had gotten their hands on them?
Well, it's incredibly serious because, as you well know, the United States right now is suffering through what we call an opioid crisis. Just last year alone, 70,000 people died from overdoses from narcotics medication. So here you have medication that is supposed to be dispensed by a pharmacy, which is what these individuals robbed, and now will be dispensed by dealers on the street.
The fact that these men, and it's on video, opened fire on police officers, striking one, it was probably inches away from possibly killing that officer or seriously wounding him. The good news is he is okay and he's making a full recovery. We should point that out. But given the fact these men opened fire on video on police officers, does that heighten any possible punishment if they're convicted at the federal level?
Of course.
Would that be, what would that possibly be? I mean, is that also why your office wanted to get involved in this?
Right. I mean, the considerations that we look at before we take a crime which might normally be considered more a local crime handled by the district attorney's office, we look at several considerations. One, of course, is the crossing of state lines in this case, but also we look at the sentencing. And in a situation such as this, where a firearm is discharged during the course of a violent crime, and obviously this is a violent crime when you go in with a gun to rob a business, when the firearm is discharged, that is a separate federal crime which calls for a mandatory minimum of 10 years on top of whatever the sentence is for the underlying crime. So that's consecutive, not at the same time. And that mandatory minimum of 10 years can go all the way up to life, depending on the judge's discretion.
Let's talk bigger picture here. This was a high-profile incident in the city of New Orleans. Your office, though, handles all of Southeast Louisiana. How big of a priority do you put on gun violence, drug violence, the type of crimes like this that NOPD handled in partnership with you all?
Well, actually, it's interesting you asked that, because the Attorney General has set forth 4 priorities for all U.S. attorneys' offices around the country. And this is based upon not just what happens in New Orleans, obviously, but all over the United States. And it's a common pattern. And number 1 is cyber threats, cyber attacks upon businesses. Ransomware is an incredibly huge issue. Secondly, it is the opioid crisis. Now, where drugs go, guns follow. And so thirdly, it is the violent crime crisis, which we have not only in New Orleans, but also in other major cities of the United States. And fourth is elder fraud and abuse. So those are the 4 priorities set nationally, and lead us to say that leads right into what we're talking about right now.
Well, let's talk about cybercrime. It's a big topic, obviously, right now with Russian involvement in the 2016 election. It's been a big talker right now with elections coming up here in Louisiana this fall. What does your office do? Do you partner up with local municipalities? What is the number 1 goal? If that's the number 1 goal, cybercrime and cyber attacks, how do you implement defeating that in Louisiana?
Actually, Director Mueller, when he was the head of the FBI, said about 5-6 years ago, he said there are 2 kinds of companies in the United States, those that have been attacked and those who will be. It is approximately, I would say, 70% of all companies that are attacked are major to small-sized companies. And that applies equally here in New Orleans. Individuals have told me, I have a client whose company has been held up for ransom. The problem is companies have to make a decision. Do they pay the ransom or do they go to law enforcement? And of course, companies are afraid if they go to law enforcement, then their businesses are going to get shut down until the issue is solved because they need that cyber lock to unlock what has been hacked into their different systems. So they're afraid if they come to us that the process will stretch out for so long, their business is shut down, their competitors will take advantage, the competitors say, hey, look, we don't have this problem. So I just want to tell all companies to please do come to us. The FBI has many incredible tools and how to help you unlock the attacks that are done upon your system. So paying the ransom only makes systems worse. The very famous attack known as SamSam occurred about 2-3 years ago. The two individuals were involved, both from Iran, collected $6 million because the companies all paid. So if companies don't pay, we stand together on this, then it will eventually come down to a trickle as opposed to the flood it is now.
We've done a lot of work here on the opioid crisis and on violent crime. Those are priorities, I know, on your list that Attorney General Barr obviously issued to U.S. attorneys. But let's talk about elderly crime. That's something that you may not think would be on that list of the top 4 priorities, but is a real concern, especially for people here in Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, it's not just a concern here, but that's why it's a priority all over the country. All of our parents are living longer. My mother's the same, but then they suffer from memory problems. And there are criminals out there who want to take advantage of this. And they're twofold. One is to call up, pretend to be some type of legitimate company, and then either sell them a product and get their credit card information, or just get the information from them, secret information, go in, and then same as in computer threats, computer invasions, they will go in and collect bank information and wipe them out. Another serious problem is elderly ladies who are approached on the internet by people who claim to have a romantic interest in them and then lead them on down the path, and then the same product happens and they're cleaned out. There's an incident that occurred in the Northwest just within the past year where a lady was basically wiped out of her entire life savings to the tune of something like $300,000. So that is why that is such a serious problem.
Last question, because we are running out of time here. White-collar public corruption has always been kind of a staple of this office for some of your predecessors. We are in Louisiana. We do have a jaded political history here. You've worked on a lot of these cases. Your first go-around when you were with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Is that a priority for your office? Is that something that needs to be enforced in this district? Because it appears that no matter how many times the U.S. Attorney's Office arrests and charges politicians, that it just keeps happening over and over and over again. Not a good thing, but is it something that your office will continue to push forward with?
Yes, of course. I think it was the Roman poet Horace who said about 2,000 years ago, you can beat nature back with a pitchfork, but ever it will hurry forth or hurry back. And fraud and corruption is exactly the same. So our office, I started working as an assistant United States attorney in 1984. We worked on fraud, we worked on corruption cases continuously, and to this day we do the same.